Hello and welcome to TimeSplitters Extra. In this video we'll be making a larger scale story mod for the original TimeSplitters 1, and rather than just showing you the end result, we'll go through the steps required to put something like this together. The files I'll be using to do this can be downloaded from the description below, and I've opened a modding channel up on my Discord server where you can ask questions or show off any of your own work. Now, something I've been wanting to do for ages is take some of the arcade only levels from the original TimeSplitters game and see if they can be made to work in story mode. TimeSplitters 1 features 18 levels all up. 9 are used for story mode and can be played in arcade, and the other 9 are arcade only. I thought it'd be fun to try and set up some of the arcade only levels to work as story maps, with NPC enemies, pickups, doors, time splitters and so on. So what are we going to do exactly? For the purpose of this video I want to take Mall, which is an arcade only level, and try to turn it into a fully working story level. We'll go over what's required to get this working so you can have a go at doing the same thing, or something similar. To start off we'll need a few things. I'm emulating a US NTSC version of TimeSplitters 1 here. Specifically this is version 1.10. There is another version out there which is version 2.0, and that won't work for what we're doing in this case. I'm using the PlayStation 2 emulator PCSX2, version 1.5.0 or version 1.6.0 should work fine too. And I'll be using Cheat Engine 6.8.3 so we can view the game's memory in real time to see what it's up to. If you want to make your changes permanent, you'll need to edit your TimeSplitters ISO file. I'll be using HXD for this, but any program you prefer should work just fine. So let's start from scratch. I'm going to boot into TimeSplitters using PCSX2. Whilst that's happening, I'm going to open up Cheat Engine and load up my TimeSplitters 1 cheat table. This file is available for download along with a reference file that contains some key information on the game. In Cheat Engine we want to select PCSX2 as our process. If the value at the top here shows 1.10, then everything should be correct. This cheat table is a long-term work in progress, so it's not finished, but will allow us to edit parts of the game in real time. I'll be updating it gradually, and up-to-date versions can be found on my Discord server. Once we're in the game, we'll go into story mode and select Tomb. Just for the sake of demonstration, you can see here that if I load this level up now, we do go straight to Tomb as normal. What we're going to do is, using the cheat engine, navigate to Story menu and click on the box here to expand this section. Locate Tomb and expand that. You'll see that the value for level to load is set to 23. Taking a look at the reference guide, we can see what values correspond to what level. As I'm wanting to swap Tomb to Mall, we're going to change 23 to 18. Now when we select Tomb, it loads us into Mall. So far, so good. By simply changing a number, we've already got this level to load from the story menu, and it is running under story mode conditions too. But as you can see, as we explore it here, there's nothing in it. The game hasn't given us any props, pickups or NPCs to play with. Story levels in TimeSplitters have a setup configuration that determines the amount of items that level will have, how many enemies are in the level, what types of props to put in it such as exploding barrels, and other aspects such as sentry guns or spawn points. The problem with Mall is that the game doesn't have a setup file for when it's loaded as a story map, so we're going to have to change that. Whilst we currently can't make new setups, we can borrow them from other levels and modify those to suit our needs. This is where I was stuck for quite a while. It was only thanks to a Discord user who got in touch that I was able to alter level setups. To keep things simple, we'll give Mall the same story setup as Tomb. In Cheat Engine, navigate down to LV Get Story Setup and expand it. Locate Tomb Story and copy the value it has to the value Mall has. Doing this essentially tells the game to look in the same location for its setup file as Tomb when it loads Mall. You could copy the value from other story levels such as Spaceways or Mansion into Mall too, and you get those configurations when you play Mall. For now we'll use the Tomb value and reload the level. You can use Ctrl and R to quick reset the level when using this cheat table. We can immediately tell that something is different. Upon restarting, we've actually spawned outside of the map, and we even have a weapon. This is because the game is loading the configuration that it would use for Tomb, and locations that work fine in that level are going to be all over the place, or perhaps non-existent in Maul. This is where things get a little bit trial and error. The first thing we want to do is fix this starting location. This cheat table maps out all of Tomb's setup, so we can change whatever we want to make it work in Maul. In Cheat Engine, navigate to Tomb Story Setup and expand it. We want to take a look at spawns, so locate that and expand that. You'll see we have two spawns listed here. One is for player 1 and the other is for player 2. Open up the first spawn box and we can see information related to player 1's spawn point. What we want to change here is the node or pad, which has a value of 1685. A pad is a location on a level and is used to tell the game where to place pickups, NPCs, or even AI pathing data. Levels are made up of hundreds of pads which contain XYZ data. They generally start at number 1000. To get us started, change the value of 1685 to 1010. You can experiment with other values to see where you start. Generally, nodes or pads of similar numbers will be located near one another. This isn't always the case, but it's likely you'll see pad number 1010 not too far away from 1008. Now that we're actually in the level, we can explore it a bit. You can use Ctrl and 1 on the keyboard to enable invincibility, Ctrl and 2 will enable invisibility, and Ctrl and 0 will reset these. This can be useful if you just want to explore a map without the AI killing you. As we explore the map, we can see that some AI and items have appeared fine. These are just lucky cases where the pad numbers from Tomb have aligned somewhat okay. It still gives us a chance to see more working in story mode with NPCs functioning, and using the cheat table we're actually able to change all of this to how we want it. A lot of patience is required though. Taking a look at Tomb story setup some more will show just what we can alter. Going into pickups we can see guns, ammo and armour, among other things such as the bag and the drop zone. Opening up the first gun, you can see it appears on pad number 1685, the original spawn location. Changing it to 1010 means it will now spawn with the player. This is just a quick example of some of the things we can do to this level, and I intend to try and make a fully working story version of this map at some point. I think it'd be awesome to see some of the speedrunners giving custom maps a go. Okay, so let's cover a few more of the basics. You'll notice that just outside of the mall are these little green boxes, which are actually props from Tomb. Props are individual objects that can be placed on a level, and they don't actually use nodes or pads for their placement. We'll be looking at the prop here in the cursor in this case. In Cheat Engine, open up Tomb Story Setup and expand the props box. You'll see here all of the props that exist in Tomb, and these are now being loaded into Maul. We're going to look at the second to last Tomb box, so expand that. Here you can see all the information related to this prop. For this example we're going to focus on two things, the prop ID and the XYZR values. The prop ID determines what the prop actually is. If we go into our reference sheet we can see what each value will load. A value of 199 like here will load the prop Tomb box. If we change that to 251 for instance, it should give us a fan of some sort, so let's try it. Okay, so we've now changed what the prop is, but what about where it is? For that we need to edit the XYZ coordinates. For this example we'll edit the X coordinate to 0, the Y coordinate to 3.5, and the Z coordinate to 5. R determines the rotation of the prop, but as this is a spinning prop it doesn't matter so much in this case. Hopefully this is easing you into the basics of some simple level modding. I've been wanting to make a how-to series for quite some time now, and I thought it would be fun to start off with the original game, as what you learn here translates into the later games too. I'll be continuing with modding them all in a later video, and we'll be covering some other topics related to TimeSplitters modding. I'll likely break up some of these level modding videos, that way if you have any suggestions or would like to see something in particular, I can try and get it in for the next video and show you how that's been done. Any suggestions or ideas you have, please leave them in the comments below. As always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.
Today only, 6 pounds of week-old shrimp.